This conference will now be recorded.
Okie dokie. Calling the work session of the Board of Trustees to order at 6:06 p.m. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right, let's get going. All right, so first item on the list. Let me see the other list. Where's the actual list? Is it back here? Hold on. I just want to see. I want to make sure I'm in line with everybody else. Is the first thing Steve Matthews?
Yes.
Okay, so Steve Matthews Preserve. We had spoken about this in the fall. I was trying to speak with the Community Engagement Division of Nat Grid to see if we could get some use or beautification or any of that. They kind of came back with a hearty no. They said their response was basically absolutely not to use. And as far as aesthetics, the best that they were offering was a beach cleanup, which we do on our own. So I think, we took it up the chain. That's their response. They actually have the right to say no. So they said no. The only other thing I can think of is if we think we might want to go back to them and say, how about a preserve cleanup? Like where get in there and go through it, get rid of garbage. It might entail volunteers on our end, but they might finance the clearing and the dumpsters or whatever. So I could go back to them with that if everybody feels they want to do that. Just throw out one more attempt at utilizing that land.
Yeah, I think at least to access it for some cleanup if they'll kick in. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
that's a good idea.
So I will go back to them with that. Hi, Joe. Asphalt plant. We have there is a new, so where we left off with that, I don't know if you guys noticed, the smelt started again last week. We were working with one regional engineer for the Division of Remediation and the Division of Air Resources. He is no longer there. It got passed down to a new regional engineer for the same two divisions, and he followed up with a written response to the questions we presented to the DEC in December. Essentially, they told us that there is the application, they did not see flaws in the application, that there is a new application requirement changes coming down the line, and that's the point at which they would possibly look into it. We came back and told them that that's not really a good enough answer. We can't wait until there are new requirements to address this. So we took it up a notch and asked them, we want an audit. We made a request to have an audit, sent that off. We want an audit of the asphalt plant because the question of what they're using, they're saying that they're doing all this, but we don't know that they are.
Yeah.
And they're saying that they're not going to do anything until there's new requirements. But
Who does the audit? Like who?
No one. We're asking the DEC to perform one based on the residents' complaints. So that's kind of where we are. So they took a little while to get back to us. They did finally get back to us, not with answers that we felt were satisfactory. So we have escalated it and are asking for an audit, and then we will have to take it a notch higher depending on whether they feel that that's doable.
Okay.
All right. Let's do, Joe, I know we have executive session. Are you
Yes.
good on time or how are you?
I can,
Okay.
but I probably like about. I'm not sure if I have to leave.
Okay, so let's do.
But
let me
if
just.
I do, it'll be like 7:15 or so.
I think we'll be good. So
I'm sorry to bother you.
no problem. So the retention basin, the one that we approved in the fall. Now that we got through hurricane season, we approved it probably even before the fall. We approved it at the end of last summer. We got through hurricane season. We got through snow season. I would like to give them the go ahead to move forward on what was already approved. I think you were on the board already when we approved
It
it.
was my first meeting.
Yeah, so
You guys have already
it's
done the legwork.
no changes, same pricing, same work. I just would like to give them the go-ahead and to get it going now before, so we have it for the spring.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
All right, let's do our bids. All right, so we have speed bumps, which is actually humps. We've got, that's the first line of bids, right? So we've got Traffic Logic, came in at 8,430. And then we've got another company, Barco,
Mhm.
6,928. And another company, Treetop, came in at 5,618. The issue is, of all the people who put bids in, two of them are, the lower ones are for speed limits of 15 miles an hour. The other one, Traffic Logics, is for road ready kind of so I don't know that we're exactly comparing apples to apples.
Yeah.
And Traffic Logics has been recommended to us by Port Jeff Village. That's who they used.
Okay.
And that is who our engineer recommended to us.
Okay.
So while it is a higher quote, it is better suited for our roadways and came recommended by the engineering firm and the village that's also used them. So I know it's a bit more, but I didn't get any feedback from the one company as far as this one company with the 5618. I asked them if they did a 25 mile an hour or better, and they never answered. So that didn't make me super happy. And then the other one said that they didn't, but that they thought that what they were giving us was sufficient, which also kind of didn't make me happy. And for the $1,000 difference, I would rather go with Traffic Logics.
I agree.
So I noticed there were two Traffic Logic bids in there. One was like about, it's like a 3 foot difference, right? 3 foot smaller.
Let me see.
Like a 7 by 18 versus 7 by 21.
Right. It might wind up being the shorter one. I have to go back to what the engineer recommended, because
Okay.
in his recommendation he gave us specifics, and I think it was not the full width, and it might have been shorter.
Okay.
I think we will be safe to say that it's going to be between these two numbers. I would just
Yeah.
approve it for the no more than the higher one and go with Traffic Logics, only because I really I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. There's rumble things. Everything has like a speed rating, and I think we should go with the one that is more road ready. I don't want to get a bump that works in a parking lot, but might work on our road. And that's it was kind of tough to get apples to apples. And
Yeah.
So
And this is installed.
no,
No.
we're installing them. None of them are installed.
Oh, it supplies like the bits and the.
They supply
And the
everything,
everything.
and then
Okay.
we install them.
What's the METCD two-way street markings? It has 6 of them listed on one and then 4 on the other.
It's probably the markings that go on the bump, and the bump is shorter, it's less street markings, I would think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
Yeah.
UTCD.
But we think based on how thorough the estimates are and the recommendations that either one of these, depending on what the engineer.
Yeah, I think we have to marry up.
We would essentially approve the higher.
I would approve the
Limit.
higher one.
Yeah.
And then go back to the engineer and ask him if we can get away with the lower one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're really kind of in line with the other quote anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
So if we're good with that, we'll go with Traffic Logics.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to make a resolution, part of the resolution is to be to, not accept the lowest bid. So it's like, if you're not accepting the lowest bid, in the case of the two lower bids, you have to state that in the resolution.
Accepting Traffic Logics at this as the highest bidder.
No, you have to state that you're not accepting the two lower bidders.
Do we have to state why we're not doing it?
Some kind of reason, yes.
Okay, it's the speed rating is the reason.
Okay.
So, that's that. Next item, tennis court repairs. So, this one from Gapsy is, he gave us a lot of variations, but the one that we're looking at is the painting tennis courts resurface. So we're going to compare apples to apples. He gave us a lot of options. All of the people who looked at the tennis court all said that just to be clear, the right thing to do with the tennis court is to completely dig the whole thing up and start from scratch. That is in the upwards of $60,000, $70,000 that we don't have. What we did the last time is we repaired it, resurfaced it, the surface portion. We didn't do the underside. We repaired it, surface. They used like a kind of surface sealant thing, and then they repaint it, restripe it, repaint, restripe, and that's what we did the last time. And I mean, the last time we did it, Dee was mayor, right? And it was at least 5 years ago. It's been like that. So we had this, it was in just as bad a shape, and we got this much time. I mean, without breaking the bank, I don't think we can go in and dig it all up and start from scratch at this point. I think we should try at least one more round of buying a little bit more time on the one that we have before we go and dip into a budget that big. And then if we see it coming, maybe we start allocating money for it over the course of a couple of years. Maybe we kind of start to earmark for the future. But for right now, I think our option is to do the resurfaced one.
Mhm.
So those numbers are, Gapsy was 22,000. Then we have
The other thing too about the cushion, which isn't redoing it.
well, he had other options as far as using different material, but and no matter what you're doing, even if you do that, you still have to, the underside is, it's an old tennis court.
Yeah.
So we'd install it over the asphalt. That's that cushion
This-
overlay system.
Right.
There's synthetic
But it's
turf on it
expensive.
for
It's so
45.
expensive.
45,000. Synthetic turf.
I mean, the only thing, I guess, question like with the synthetic turf would be what the lifespan of it is, because you're spending 22,000 every 5-6 years. Would it be worthwhile to put that over the top of it? Would that alleviate? I just don't know enough of like the.
I don't think we have $45,000 to do it, so we'd have to live with our tennis court as is until we could adjust the budget or
Yeah.
adjust the taxes to cover something like this. We're already into our budget, and I don't think I mean, I think we can cover a resurface, and I think we can Band-Aid it again and see if we can get. One of the guys said that if it cracks here and there, he'll come in and he'll refix that.
How many people would you say use the tennis court? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I think I think there's a good amount of people who use the tennis court.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's people there on the weekends and stuff. I mean, I think it's useful. I think it's a nice feature. I wouldn't want to.
Well, I mean, yeah, whenever a house is advertised in the village, they always profile the tennis courts. And
I think we should go with the resurfacing for right now, and then knowing that this is going to be maybe we make this the last Band-Aid, and we start to
yeah,
look at what we need to do a real job next go round, which is going to be hopefully 4 or 5 years from now.
I'll think of point.
we really don't.
Because we don't have the money.
We really don't, unless we just table the whole thing for another season.
No, it's pretty bad.
It is pretty
I
bad.
went down there yesterday to look at it, and it's bad.
Right. Then we've got another bidder, Laurel, who came in at 19,600 for the same comparable. I'm just comparing apples to apples at this point. And then wasn't there a third? Yeah, it was Laurel. There was a third. Hi, Rob.
Yes. This is total of 17,900.
Okay.
So
So,
it was 17,000. So who was it?
Trunco? Straight line tennis court.
Straight Line. So Straight Line has done a number of tennis courts in the village, and they actually, I believe, did the last one. And he's the one who said he'd come back and patch.
The one she's printing now?
Yep.
Okay. So the 19th.
They were all, I got to tell you, everyone I spoke to, they all seemed competent, nice. They all came, they all surveyed it, they all spent some time talking to me about it.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of somebody saying that if if the whole tennis court cracks from one end to the other, that's not going to be part of the repair. But he was saying, that if it's a little patch here or there, he would do it. That all of them won't really warranty any of this because of the condition of the. Yeah. And they all said the same thing. They all said this will get you more time, but realistically, it needs to be dug up. But digging it up just to work, we'd have to. I mean, I don't know how they get the machines in there. So
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
okay, so this was Straight Line, and his number was 17. So is he the lowest number?
Yeah.
Because the other guy was
19.
19, he's 18 for the additional 1,200 includes adding permanent pickleball lines.
This guy's doing pickleball lines too.
Okay.
They're all.
So
Everybody is striping it pickleball lines. This guy Straight Line actually made a recommendation, and I asked some tennis players, as far as doing the U.S. Open colors instead of doing the red and the green, to do the green on the outside and a blue on the inside. And then he had a photo, which I thought was good, was that he did the pickleball stripes in a light blue so that the tennis court stays white and the pickleball stripes are there, operable. But if you're playing tennis, it's not a bunch of different stripes.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and that's something we could ask all of them to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's done work in the area. I think he's the one who did it the last time. I didn't have time to look it up, but he knew the area, and he told me he did it the last time. I didn't confirm it. So I mean, he's the lowest bidder. I think we should just go with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really want to tear it up, huh?
I don't. I just, it's like, a lot of money to spend if it's going to be coming apart in a couple of years.
The thing is, it's a lot of it's
A lot of money to redo it.
it's the money to redo it. We don't have the money to redo it, so it's in really bad shape now. So I'm inclined to pull the trigger on one last go around, and then And with the knowledge that this is, and plan for the next one.
Who did it last time?
I think it was Straight Line, I don't know. It wasn't? No.
I
He said he did it and his name sounded familiar.
It's not Laurel Tennyson Square. It's not just Bill Godspeed.
I don't think so. Why did he say he did it the last time? Are they all claiming the same
Well,
thing?
he
He
said,
said he can give a proposal.
No,
this
he
year.
gave us a proposal because we asked for
oh, I estimated.
we asked
Okay.
for estimates last year and then we tabled the whole thing.
Okay,
And it was cracking last year, but now it's really bad.
no, it is bad.
I mean, we walked on it, remember, and it's worse
It's
than when we
terrible.
walked on it.
It's terrible.
So I mean, I think we have to just, I think we have to go for it and just spend
Because
them.
I don't think it's fair to the residents paying taxes and the tennis court. if the
No, and
tennis
I think
players-
we can do the whole thing. I think we have to plan to do the whole thing and
Yeah.
recognize that we're going to be, that expense is coming
Yeah,
and start to allocate accordingly.
I agree.
But we have a lot of we have like emergency drainage. We have a
Yes.
lot of stuff coming up in our budget
Yes.
right now that I there's no place to pull for that.
Yeah.
So it's either we do it or we don't.
But let's do what, I think you're right. I think we should give it another go of patching it up, repainting it, instead of it'll look new. And keep our fingers crossed.
So the only other one that I just want to ask a quick question about is the Mateflex tiles. Is that, it says pickleball, does that include
He
tennis
he had
too?
given us a price of doing a pickleball court.
Oh, a whole separate court.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
the 30
that's
the
an
33.6.
that's an add-on. That's like where we took
Okay.
down those. His quote has like a million different options.
Yeah, I didn't know. if
So
this
the
was specific
pickleball,
style.
that wasn't part of the tennis court. That was
Yeah, I see
in addition to
35.60
do,
separate.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
separate court for pickleball. And I
Okay.
don't know if we want to go there right now.
Yeah.
So, we'll go with Straight Line. Yeah,
None
okay.
of these have, because it's repair work, none of these come with warranties.
Nope. I mean, the last time that we did the same thing, it lasted. I don't know when we did it. Do you have any recollection? I know that it wasn't, it was before I was on the board.
It's been about 5
What's that?
5 years.
It was 5 years ago? Yeah. I think
All right,
I think
so
it
At
was,
the most.
no, I think it was longer than that.
Seems like it gets bad right away.
I have one from 2018.
The quote. Or they did it. They didn't do it in 2018. 6 years sounds right.
Yeah, 2018.
Oh, Jesus.
I know.
Ah,
And it
I
was
thought it
gold
was about
still.
6 years ago.
yeah.
So if we get 5-6 years and then.
Every year we put away. Everybody puts away a couple of bucks in a jar.
10 grand away each year.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's that. All right. Then we got potholes. So we had Straight Line.
Yeah.
So potholes we had. Is that all we got? Was 3?
We only ended up getting 3 in.
We had like 7 million
Oh
people
my
saying
gosh.
that they wanted to come in, and
Probably
only 3. So what I did, to keep things apples to apples, I offered a drive-through with for everyone to come at the same time. 2 people came, Parkline and Royal both came. We drove the village. I explained to them, we went through every pothole in the village, every area that needed to be paved. I didn't see the bids for the Washington. I guess we'll look at that later. But I also asked them what it would cost just to do Washington from as a separate thing, just for us to have in our mind.
Yeah.
From Washington, from the corner of
I'm trying to stay on the beat.
no, just the corner of Cedar, Walnut to the end to the corner of Chestnut, because that part of the road is completely.
Okay.
Did they give us numbers for that? They did. They're in the quotes. All right. So that might be that might be, we can talk about that or look at it. But here's the thing, they came up with, and these are the two guys that gave us prices. They came up kind of in line with one another. But one, Royal came in with 1.5 inches, but I called them and asked them for two to make apples to apples. So the the square foot price changes from $4.02 to $4.40 approximate for the 2-inch depth,
Mhm.
which is what they did last year. Royal did do the work last
I
year.
thought they did a good job.
I did too. Parkline came in, Parkline's quote is cheaper, but for some reason the calculations, and what I did was I gave them, when we drove through the area, I gave them, showed them all the potholes and told them to kind of look at it. We get reimbursed when it's larger resurfacing. So we did get some reimbursement from CHIPS last year. So I told them to kind of use their judgment on what could be grouped together and keep the costs down, that we could get a reimbursement. So Royal came in with 17,000 square feet, and Parkline came in at with 9,000 square feet. But we need to do the math on the 17, so it turns into 76.
76 or 28 at 2 inches.
Let me see. Okay. So here's the thing.
Which, just to be fair, this is where Parkline would be if it was the same square footage,
Right.
right?
Yep.
123 through 27. So we're at that price, right?
Yeah.
Where they're at the square foot price for 2 inches.
I mean, listen, it's kind of tough. We don't have a public works department where I have a team of workers go and measure everything, and they're all kind of doing it to the best of their
Yeah.
expertise. We got KJB Industries also gave us a quote. I was very specific that I wanted a patching versus paving quote.
Yeah.
He gave us just a square footage overall, right?
He just gave us a price per square foot.
Oh, so he
Yeah.
didn't.
$10
It's
a
the
square
last
foot.
one in there.
Yeah, but that's not.
Sorry,
I'm not confident with that because I don't know if he's going to come in and say 500 square feet or 2 million square feet.
Yeah.
2 million would be probably excessive. But I think we should pick either Parkline or Royal. I mean, my inclination is to go with Royal only because they did a great. Their per square foot price is lower regardless. And I mean, we worked with them last year. They did a really good job last year. Probably the best pothole job in a while. So I would give it to them, and then I mean, it's more, but that more might also be more reimbursable from CHIPS.
Yeah, I mean, so what do we, when we agree to a contract with them, are we agreeing to this 17,000 square foot number?
So what happens is we would probably, I mean, we'd have to see what it is. I went through the street with them, but what winds up happening is they'll come and they'll do it, and they'll find 3 more potholes, and we just kind of base that on square footage prices because I can't predict from now to when they do it. If 2 more potholes pop up, I'm going to have them fill them, right?
Yeah. So we're agreeing, our contract agrees to a square foot price.
I think that their estimate. Go ahead, Dave.
The town is just entered into a small mill and fill contract, like if you need a small area of road done, they have a contractor that does small repairs now, so we might be able to get that off the municipal agreement with the town. I don't even have to look at the prices and check it, they do it by the square yard.
So that might be something. I mean, we could look at that too, but
They don't do, I don't think they'll get through potholes, but if you have a section of road, a small section, the more square yards you do, the cheaper the prices. Like,
Right, they're doing another street nearby, aren't they?
Towns, that's paid, that's on the mill and pave contract.
Okay.
This is on a mill and fill, a small road repair, like a Band-Aid.
Like
Section like you want to do on Washington.
Okay.
It's a Band-Aid, they have a contract for that now. So you might want to look into what their prices are as opposed to these other giants, what they're giving, because I'm sure they.
So this is they came in. I mean, in all fairness, they came in pretty close when it came to the same section. Royal came in at 25,200. This is that section of Washington, and Parkline came back at 26,880. So they kind of close on that as far as numbers.
It's really close.
Yep.
Makes
So
you
it's
wonder why they're so
because
far apart on
because
the square foot things.
they're kind of doing it based on what they think they can piece together. I think because we are getting square feet and the numbers are so different, I think we should go with square footage.
Mhm.
Take the square footage price, because the actual feet that they're estimating is once almost twice the size.
How could that be? What happened?
I guess I gave them a tour, and my tour probably wasn't that great. Truthfully, I gave them, I brought them from pothole to pothole, and I said, where you think this can be pieced together, I get reimbursed for piecing it. So I'm guessing that the reason probably came from the fact that Royal is piecing together more. I can go back with them if we choose them and tell them that the square footage number is a little off the wall and I want to do another review.
So they didn't go around and tell us which potholes should be done. We brought them to the.
I brought
potholes.
everybody, I told all the vendors that I would bring them to the potholes
So
and
they
I
all saw
throw
the
them.
same
They all
thing.
saw the same thing, but their approach to it is clearly different.
Yeah, it's very
But
different.
I'm sorry, Steve. So how many potholes were there?
Well, there's a whole list.
Oh, there's a whole list.
There's
So
a
how-
whole
Yeah,
list
if
of,
you look at the pipeline quote,
Yeah.
there's, it's like, there's a Excel sheet essentially is what,
And Royal has a whole list.
the list should be the same. It's how they're approaching it.
So do you know what the work is that they're gonna do for 17,000 compared to 9,000? Because maybe you only need 9,000. At $4 square foot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We could choose someone based on the square footage price, and then I could see if I could narrow down the actual square footage. That's what I would do. I would go back and have them show me and see if we can knock that number down.
Yeah,
Well, they were neck and neck with when they're comparing truly apples and apples, they're comparable.
just trying to pull like a spot or two off of theirs to see kind of what it looks like.
I mean, we also provide the sizes for each location, so it should.
I don't know if that's been 58. That 80 by 30.
I think the numbers are a little different.
To 2,400, right? And 20 by 25, right? So 80 by 30, 400 square feet plus 25 by 20 is what, another 500. So you're talking,
I think the numbers are different. Like if you look at Birchwood Adams corner, it says 20/4 dimensions, but if you look at the other, it's 20/5. So I think they have different dimensions a little bit differently. That's just one example.
That's
You can go
exactly.
through it.
I mean, that's exactly what they did.
I mean, I'm happy to go through both things and compare tomorrow the difference in the measurements.
Do we want to table this and have them come up with have them go through it? Can we do that?
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Can we go through and have the two vendors reassess it?
Like, you see Birchwood and Monroe.
Or do we award it by square foot, and then what do we do?
No, I think you should, talk to them and figure out why.
The numbers?
It's
So
the
what you,
dimensions, Joe, that's the difference, because if you look at Birchwood and Monroe, this one says 18 by 5, and this one says 20 by 20, yeah, 7. Different
so you're required to do due diligence. So,
dimensions are different.
Do I have to go back out to bid again?
no, so you can either accept it subject to a due diligence review, and then ask them why their areas are so different from the other one. And then
Have them narrow it down? Try to get them closer, or do I ask them both to do it all over again? I mean,
no, you don't have to do, they're the highest. What I would do is you don't have to do it all over again. I would just ask them why their dimensions are so different.
so don't award it tonight.
Yeah, I don't think, but based on what it looks like, I wouldn't do it.
Okay,
You
all
can
right.
have a special meeting for it.
Okay, we'll do that then. All right, next one was drain cleaning. This should be a little easier because it's just the same drains. Where is it? No, it's okay. Oh, that's it. That's it. Okay. Yeah.
River Environmental.
What do we have? Let me find it. Royal, it's on the other side of this one.
Yeah, it's on the back side of the park line asphalt maintenance.
Got it. Okay. Oh, okay.
Two-pager.
Right. Let me get that. Alright, I don't have it. Let me look. Well, let's look at yours. This is the first time I'm seeing it anyway. So we've got Clear River Environmental.
Mhm.
So 4,500 per day, 1,550 per load. Royal 3,500 per day. Oh God, I hate when they. So we got 125 cubic yard. So we don't know how many cubic yards are in a load.
So
That's sold by the ton.
Parkline included that,
This isn't-
one
this isn't
truck
asphalt
with a
anymore.
16-yard
What?
capacity.
We're talking drain cleaning.
But
No.
none of the other ones included so I broke it down by load because that's how they all, by cubic yard, I'm sorry, on the two, because that's just what they provided.
We just don't know what their per load is, right?
Per load, 125, 95 per cubic yard.
We just don't know how many cubic yards are in the load for them, right?
For Clean River.
Clear River.
For Royal.
Royal
No,
has
for-
a cubic yard price.
They both have cubic yard
Clear
prices.
River just has a per load price, which, is obviously based on these numbers, I'm sure.
So is this another due diligence, Joe?
And
I
I
would
think this one,
assume it's a 10-yard, but I mean, that's just speculation based on the numbers, probably $155 a yard, right? Cubic yard, 10-yard truck.
So do we have to go back and ask them to give it to us per cubic yard so that it's apples to apples, everybody's cubic yard?
What did we ask them for?
That's the thing. We don't have like
Oh.
we don't have a formal, we ask them to bid, we give them the street, we give them the drains. We ask them for per load per day, but their per load breakdown is different.
and you see this one, make sure you guys see for Clear River, there was on their estimate an extra charge of $1,250 per day for a support vehicle to transfer water. The other two didn't. It was just the dump fees.
It's on the breakdown. What the hell in there? Yard side. Factory with operator. Sport vehicles, transfer water, water disposal.
We never had somebody do that with the transfer water. We always just had them do the load, and it's all kind of, because it's really not water. They're just taking like the gritty sand.
Right. And usually I think it's 16 yards. You gotta do this
We did that for the
for like a small drain clean. We had to confirm.
16 yards.
Oh, well, that changes. I remember them. Their per cubic yard prices would be the lowest. That's the case.
So who is the
They'd be about-
lowest?
They'd be about $100 a yard, a little under $100 a yard per load. But they have the water fee. They're 52 all in. So this is. Oh, yeah, this truck 16-yard capacity is what
Oh, yeah,
Parkline
there it is,
has.
right.
Parkline's the lowest.
Yeah. So then these guys would be close. So if you did 1550 by 16, it's gonna put you about the same place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
1550. Which you have 96.8. So here, let's do this. Assuming that this is the same, this is 96.80 per cubic yard, right? Per yard.
Is it?
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, based on a 16.
16 yards.
I mean, based on a
capacity.
16 yard.
right,
capacity.
okay.
Yeah, that would be, that's what that would break into. So, but they also have this.
Right, but this one's cheaper. I don't know if we need this. The thing. I think we could go with that then.
Parkline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do that math, then now we are comparing apples to apples, and
Yeah.
Parkline's the cheapest.
Mhm.
So I think we should go with Parkline for this one.
I agree.
So this one we can do, right?
Mhm.
Potholes, we're going to do a little bit more research, but I think we'll award the drain cleaning to
Yeah.
to
If you're
Parkline.
okay with that,
Yeah.
Parkline?
Yeah.
Parkline,
Yeah.
I think that's the least expensive.
Okay. Okay. So that's that for the bids. Joe, do you want to break and do executive session right now, or
I have time. So
we're good? We're still good. Okay,
Thank you. I'm sorry.
no problem.
I'm managing my family. I'm sorry to
That's okay.
continue with my phone, but
That's fine.
I have a
Priorities.
situation.
Full priorities, yeah. Family.
Family first, right?
Some of my kids do not to schedule their birthdays for the meeting.
So this would be.
Unless they want to
Next
come.
year we'll-
Well, you could just bring them here for their birthday, because that would be really. That would be a joy
So tell them we
for
have
the
to
whole
pay-
Pro Cop family to show up here. So Josephine doesn't have to show up with just your dinner. She could show up with the whole thing. We could have party hats next time.
It might be tonight. The next time might be tonight.
Oh,
I
well.
think we have the spare cake. Shaking up. Sorry.
Right, so you're roughly this. Right. Total compared to that. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if you did the math on that, it's less.
Yeah, significantly.
Yeah.
Right.
And as
Because-
far as
because of this.
estimated days,
I did this at 8, so it could be. I went on the high because this is what they
8
have
days.
to make it out. To make it the same.
I
so.
don't know that they took 8 days the last time. I feel like they did it in like 4 or 5.
Was it Parkline?
No,
Sorry.
it was Eastern,
Oh,
but Eastern took themselves out because they didn't know it was prevailing wage, and then when they took a bath and hated Poquat last year because they didn't realize that until after the fact, and they had to do it on prevailing wage, and he was like, I'm not bidding again.
What do you mean?
These contracts have to be on prevailing wage, and they have to pay their employees more money to do it when it's the municipal contracts, right? Not everything is prevailing wage, but the infrastructure is prevailing wage, right? So they bid it not knowing that it was
Oh.
prevailing wage, and then when they did it, they realized it was, and they honored the number, but they didn't put a lot of money in their pocket because they had to adjust. They had to adjust based on. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go with Parkline on that, right? Okay. So now let's go back to number 5. Oh, we're done. Bids. Good. All right. Election inspectors. So we have 4. Is that all we got as far as volunteers? So we got 4 volunteers for election inspectors. Is that what we need, 4?
Either 2 or 4.
Can we do 2 and 2 alternates, or should we do 4?
I would do 4.
Okay, so we have 4. We don't have any alternates yet.
That's okay.
We
You
just,
could appoint an alternate like the day before the election.
okay. All right, well, we'll put out another request for alternates. I put it on the website, and we'll see if somebody volunteers. Tree trimming list. Jeremy?
Yeah, so there two, I apologize, I had a bit of a computer malfunction of 2 things. I've got a list from Ray, we split the village in half, kind of between Singingwood and White Pine, drew a line
Is this
across.
Ray's?
Yeah, that's Ray's, so I'll have to forward you mine, I'll resend it. He's got, let's see, uh, Washington from 14 to 25A. I think we're talking about which I don't know how this comes into play with trustees. Are we responsible? We're responsible for trimming those. I mean, not trustees. I'm sorry. Matthews Preserve. Are we responsible for trimming back those trees?
Yes and no. If we want to trim them back for aesthetic reasons,
Okay.
yes, and
Okay.
we have to ask permission.
Okay.
If there's trees that are dying, dead, causing issues with the lines, no, we call them and we tell them we have these X amount of issues, and then
Okay.
that's kind of like, so it's kind of a split thing. It's more their maintenance.
Okay.
It's more their responsibility. The last time we did this, you and I did this, right, Jacqueline? The last time we did this, we told them and they came, and I think they did, like, let's say we gave them 6 trees, they did 4 or 5 of them. They agreed, but it has to be, they won't just come and do it because we want to beautify. Clearly, I stated that earlier when I tried to get them to do something. So if it's tree trimming is one thing. More so, I think to get a bid out. I think we should try to get a bid for trees that need to come down because they're either clearly decaying, dying, or dead. Or posing major issues for whatever the reason. But that would be it. I mean, unless they're like, if they're just hanging over, we could, if they're hanging over wires.
Yeah.
And they're healthy, but they're hanging over wires that could affect us during a storm, that would constitute this bid. I think trimming might be a secondary line item, depending on how much trees we need to address. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So the runs that he's describing here, also some of the runs that we looked down Washington, the power lines on those areas are fine. They've been trimmed back. I think PSEG was here recently and doing some work on the upper ones. But the lower ones, which are the 2 other utilities, your cable lines mostly, your high-speed internet and whatnot, have some overgrowth from the preserve that could use some trimming back. I think the other question is how far does our, I guess, right and responsibility go as far as trimming trees that belong to residents that are encroaching onto like streets or overhanging onto streets?
Oh, that's a good question. I think.
Usually you cut what's above the right of way.
Yeah.
And is there a height restriction? Because there's so many trees in the village that cross over right of ways, but they're at heights that don't seem to interfere with normal vehicle operation, or even commercial vehicle operation for the most part. But is that then our responsibility to notify? I mean, you'd be trimming a lot of. I mean, if you look at all the trees that.
I think we should focus on trees that are dying or dead. I think that I don't disagree that a tree trimming might be a good thing, but I think for the tree list, typically in the past, it's been trees that need to come down because if we don't take them down, they're gonna fall or cause damage or do something on the roads. So I think maybe if you want, take this list
Yeah, I
back,
was gonna ask if you mind for time's sake, if you don't mind, I'll take his and I will,
combine them
kind of work
and
it
kind
down to,
of work it down. You could
Yep.
and you could split it into two lists: the ones that absolutely need to come out,
Yeah.
and the other ones that could use a trim. And if they are on electrical, that should be its own line item because
Yeah.
if they're sitting on power, that might be something that we can ask, PSEG. We can advise them, and they might do let's give them the list first and see which ones they will get rid of or trim back or make safe for us,
Okay.
and then we would go follow up with
Okay.
with anything else. So I think that's part one. Let's circle back with part two on this.
Same thing for Van Brunt. Encroachment from the other side. We still take care of the road.
You talking about the issues that we had last year with the overgrowth?
Yeah, there's not
From wells down?
We're not having the street level the same kind that we had, at least yet, because it just started going
Right.
back. But there is some overhang onto, and some of those lines do cross over, to our side, and there is some overgrowth on that side.
It's all our side. It's the
Okay.
whole, both sides are ours,
Yep.
all the way to Wells. That
So
It's-
the trees along that roadway, anything that crosses
both
into the roadway.
both are they're
Are
both
responsible.
ours up until Wells,
Got it.
and
Okay.
then from Wells to 25A is Brookhaven.
Got it. Okay. All right. Let me just fine tune this then.
No,
Resend
I
it
know
to you.
you're looking because that's not what the story used to be.
No, my question is, so if the tree is overgrowing over a road, but it's on private property, shouldn't they be responsible for keeping their tree trimmed? If it's your tree, if my tree is growing up over the road,
Is your tree causing a road hazard, or is
no,
it?
I'm saying not a road hazard. Or let's say the tree's dead, for instance. So my tree is dead, and it's on my property,
And causing a problem for the road?
but you worry that it's going to fall on the road. Like, isn't that the homeowner's responsibility if
So
it's
if
on
it's,
their property?
If it's like shrubbery that's obstructing traffic, then it's the homeowners. So the traffic, I think the universal traffic height is 13 feet 4 inches. So if it's that height plus a couple feet, and it's shrubbery bushes that are growing in, or tree branches that are growing in, then it's from a tree that's on private property, then the people should cut it back. If it's
They would be notified, and we would ask them to cut it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't have, I'll look back to Ray's, but we don't have anything, and on at least that side that I went through, that is encroaching from that level down. Anything encroaching really is at a higher level that comes up over the street. I mean, we're not going to go back.
But people love. I'm
No, I'm in agreement
like
with
the
you.
canopy that
No, exactly.
creates, as long as
I
it's
agree.
not,
It's
as long as the
it's a
tree's
healthy-
not dead
Yeah, it's a
and
healthy
causing,
tree.
it's beautiful.
We're not trying to get our streets trimmed in line.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're leaving it just at 13.4 plus a couple feet. So anything over roughly an eyeball 15-foot kind of height, as long as the branches aren't
As
coming
long
down
as they're
below
not
that,
dead or
we're-
causing
yeah,
a hazard,
we're
it's
okay
it's
with that.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
so.
All right, let me tweak this for you.
Tweak
and I'll
it
send it back over.
and we can circle back.
Okay.
Should I authorize? Okay, so should I authorize her to put out for bids, and we just wait until Jeremy gets back to us, and at that point, or do we have to wait till the next meeting?
you can authorize it when the trustee gives you the list.
Okay,
So it's attached to the bid, but you can authorize it as one, but just.
we'll authorize it, and then he'll narrow down the list, and then she'll actually put it out to bid at that point. I just don't want to go a whole month, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Phew. Okay, here's a nice little easy one. We have a flag commissioner. Gary Garofano has stepped up to take care of our flag, monitor the alerts, and take it down during bad weather. We have a new flag on order for California,
Okay.
so we will be getting that and replacing it. And that was an easy, quick line item. New York class investment of 2022, 2023 snow removal reserve. I brought that up at the last meeting, that I wanted to potentially take the snow removal reserve funds and invest them for at least the non-snow season. We have, it's 5,500 or 55, what do we have left?
55,000.
55,000. So that's, hi Ron. That's that's something I want to move forward and just authorize to start, consider moving that. We talked about it, but I didn't have the exact number. So it's 55,000. So I'm thinking at least a 6-month kind of investment.
And it's, I mean, there's no penalties for early removal. We do a 6 month, nothing.
Yeah, it's like a money market.
Yeah.
It's like a
Okay.
money market.
So like, let's just
Okay.
do something with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as there's no penalties for withdrawal. Okay.
All right, now going back to the code enforcement vehicle, the last, the old one that we
Yeah.
put out to bid. We got a whopping $4,000 as a offer. So it's terrible. So I think we should now turn this over and see what we would get on a trade-in. For, we've talked about this a number of times, switching over to a lease.
Mhm.
I think we should look at what we would get on a trade-in instead, because I think we're going to actually do better on a trade-in. Any thoughts?
I
How
agree.
many miles is on?
Not a lot,
56,000.
56,000, but they get beat up.
What did we post that on?
We posted it on the municipal bid, right?
Yeah,
Can we go, are we limited by what resources we use? Does it have to be on anything specific? Like, can you put it out on like an open?
Can we put it on like Auto Trader?
I was
Can you
just
put
gonna
it
say,
on
go
a
back to Lana,
personal?
where they come and pick it up in 2 hours and get checked.
Can you do that?
Because now
Or
you
like
have
an
a bid price, so
automation.
as long as it's more than 4,000.
So maybe we'll do that.
Let's look at a couple other options. I mean, I think all of them. I mean,
Yeah, let's do that. Because we had a bid, now we're allowed to go commercial or outside of,
As long as it's at least that bid.
okay, so then we could do that. But we still also have to think about what we're gonna do
No,
to
I
get rid of it.
agree. I mean, that's just, if that's the only number that came in.
Okay, I like it. So let's do that. Let's look into Carvana.
I would take out the stuff, the buy at your own risk. I would take that out this time. Put down, great car, good value.
Oh, now we're gonna come up with something else.
Sentimental value.
Yeah.
What's the language? Need to sell quick because moving or
That's great.
upgrading family.
My grandmother drove it, if I see that one again.
Yeah.
Grandmother drove it.
My grandmother drove it. It's in great condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy at your own risk. That didn't work very well.
Yeah, obviously. All right, policy reviews. So, I forgot to I didn't put the other one on there. So we had, the fund appropriation and transfer policy and the fund balance, and then there was another one that you did that I added to the,
The one that I wasn't supposed to do.
you did one that you weren't supposed to do, but you did it anyway, but you were you were kind of supposed to do it. We had some edits, but you went in and,
It was, fund down. I wasn't supposed to do fund down.
no, yeah, you were. You were supposed to do fund, wait,
Hold on. It's on the working,
it's on what?
the working.
Oh, the other one?
Oh, wait.
No, it's here. Fund balance policy, fund appropriations, and then there was one more that I circulated, I think, by email, which is what this,
Not the ethics one.
no, ethics is not.
Bill approval procedure.
Bill approval procedure.
Bill approval procedure. Okay, so the one, which one was the one that we weren't ready to do yet?
Fund
Fund
balance.
appropriation.
No, fund down.
Okay, so that one we don't have to go over right now. Let's go over fund appropriations. So I think that it's written, I like the way that this is written because it gives us the opportunity to designate the amount annually without having to change the policy. So we could set the policy to whatever we feel is, I mean, I don't think it's something we're going to set every year, but we can set it, forget it, and if it changes, we can make that adjustment without having to change the policy. So with that, I was totally, I think the policy's fine. I didn't have any comments. Anybody have any? So I think we can just adopt this, right?
I'd like to see your name up
Oh, does it say Mayor Chris Schneider?
When I got the letterhead, it said Chris, I changed it on both.
No,
there.
no, you
We
just,
like to hear
we
it.
know who your favorite mayor is, and it's certainly not me.
You didn't say you're wrong.
Look at, he doesn't even deny it. He just looks down and he's like, well. And then the other one,
Does that go in on the minutes? Does it say?
that,
Does the
that,
village
No,
attorney,
Chris
village-
Schneider's-
village attorney
Chris
did
Schneider-
not respond to
yeah.
comments upon favorite mayor.
I'll write a resolution.
Yeah,
From
but-
favorite mayor with not.
No response, rolled eyes.
Poor Joe.
I figured I would just update the header.
How's poor Joe? I'm the one who nobody likes. All right, where's the other policy that you sent that I circulated? No, fund balance was the one you weren't supposed to
We're
do.
not doing fund balance. It's,
Oh, the,
the
transfer.
appropriation one, transfer.
But that one you gave us a number on that. So that one we went with 500. Where is it?
No, payment, paying bills is 500. Fund and appropriation transfer, that just says that you're gonna do it quarterly and once a year.
And make that by resolution.
Yes.
Okay, because you think that the 500 should just be standard, right?
That's
The-
for the bill payment policy.
The bill approval policy.
We asked Ron looked at the other one and said it was okay with one addition, and I added it in. So if you ask Ron, he'll tell you.
Are we talking about bill approval procedure right
No.
now?
Now, whichever one you want to talk about.
I don't know which one. I'm completely confused. So I think we just said that the fund and appropriation transfer policy was good, right? Now we're looking at bill approval procedures.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
bill approval procedures. We did say the Board of Trustees hereby establishes this threshold of 500, which we decided on all the numbers last month. So do you think that my question is, the other one we were establishing the number, the thresholds by resolution, and here we've actually set it with a number. Does it matter that it's not the same?
No, it's two different policies, right? One is for paying bills and the other is for transferring money.
Okay,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
okay,
It's
so,
not the same.
I mean, I besides that, I had no other comments on this, and I was fine with it, right?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so that's that. We can adopt these two tonight, and now, let's see where we're at. Oh, so now we can go into executive session.
Okay.
So I'm going to call the meeting. One of these days, I'm going to actually get this right. Let's see. I'm going to call the business meet. I'm going to close the business meeting. Or do you want to do village? Why don't we do village policy, your update, and then we can close this meeting, go into executive session, and go into work session.
Whatever.
Yeah. So let's do open items to discuss here, and then we'll go into. Do you have any?
I got the ethics policy back from Jacqueline, and I approve everything she did. She made changes, and basically, I submitted a model policy, and she took the time to create it for the village of Oakwood, and wherever it said, village, whatever, village, model village or whatever it said, she changed it to Oakwood, which and several other things which made it
And pared down the other 40 pages of ancillary documents
Fire
that she had to read through. Yeah.
It looks good.
So do you need to fine tune that and give it to us, or can
No,
we
it's
just
okay
look
the
at
way
it?
It is, but I think you should look at it.
Yeah,
Adopt it next month.
All right, so I'll circulate that. We'll all review it, and then we'll say yes to that next month. Did we ever get our money
We
from?
got the $7,500.
Yay.
And I forgot to bring it today, I'm sorry. I'll bring it on, are you open tomorrow? No, so you'll have it Monday.
Okay,
Maybe
that's
one of his small
You can
rounds,
take it to
getting
the
a little
door.
gift tonight.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so that's it. So now we can motion to adjourn the work session at 7:11 p.m. So moved. All in
This is to
favor?
discuss, and potential litigation.
Oh, wait, but no, I haven't done that yet. I'm closing this session. Then I open the executive session, right? Or no?
No, it's a motion to adjourn into public, excuse me. Motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss potential litigation.
I can never get it right, so I'm not closing it. Okay. So moved. All in favor? Okay. All right. So anyone on the call, we're just gonna pause for a few minutes and we'll be back. Let me go back to this. Where am I? Ron, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no problem. We're just gonna take a pause for executive
I
session.
got you. I'm just muting my mic.
Okay, no problem. So I'm gonna do that here too. All right, we're back.
Motion to-
Motion to leave executive session, right?
To reopen.
And to
the
reopen the
Work session.
work session. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to
Close.
close the Board of Trustees work session at 7:34 PM. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's move on. Motion to open the business session at 7:34 PM. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, let's do the pledge. Joe, you started because you don't like me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Let me see that.
Taking a lot of hits tonight as well
You are
for the team.
On the record too.
on the record. Okay, announcements. The 2024 village election will take place on Tuesday, June 18th. There will be two-year trustee positions, one one-year trustee position, and one two-year mayor position. Nominating petitions are available at Village Hall and due by 5 PM on May 14th. The village is requesting that anyone interested in being an alternate election inspector that day, please contact Village Hall. The Poquot Community Association will be hosting its first Friday Family Happy Hour of the 2024 summer season on May 26th at Walnut Beach at 6:30 PM. The community dock and village sprinklers are now open for public use. Residents interested in obtaining a plot at the Trustee Park Community Garden are asked to complete and submit their application online or in person before June 1st. Thank you to resident teen Luciana Hayes and her family for the coordination of our new sunscreen dispenser at Walnut Beach. That looks good, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Reports, public safety.
Public safety report from April 11th to May 9th, 2024. House checks request, there was 1. Director patrols, there was 17. Incident reports, there was 4. Parking warnings, there was 3. Quality of life warnings, there was 5. Special event permits issued was 14. Parking tickets issued was 3. And 0 filled against taking purchase.
Treasurer's report. Ron, we have you here. Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it?
We can kind of skip off the first paragraph of what I sent in the summary.
Okay.
But I can read it then.
No. You could just give us the quick report. I just don't want to go into the potential shifts that we're going to be doing because I think it's too premature to start talking in that depth of numbers as far as end of the year appropriation changes, unless you feel it's necessary. I think that all of those are pending.
No.
Yeah.
At this point in time, the short story is that depending upon the timing of performing the drainage work, the tennis court, and the speed bumps, that will depend on where we end up at year end. If that work falls over into the new year, obviously there's a big difference. But to the extent that those things fall into this year, we will need to do additional appropriations of fund balances because we haven't budgeted for that.
Mhm.
But as of this time, the amount of the budget without any of those is probably going to be somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 over budget. But we are proposing another appropriation, so that will affect that. That may come down, but I always keep an eye on the two things, on what we end up having to appropriate from fund balance. And we started out earlier with 144,000 in the fund balance. We already are drawing down 13 of that before the latest proposed numbers. And well, no, I mean, it's not 13, 12. The 13 was already out of there. And so we are well above 100,000 in fund balance. Now, I noticed the fund balance policy, which we didn't vote on, but we're still talking about a fund balance safety amount of between 10 and 20% of the annual budget, which is now at 320. So that would be between 32 and 64 would be the low level of where we'd want to be in fund balance. So even with doing the tennis court, the speed bumps, potholes, I don't know what to say, because I don't think we came up with a number, but we are still not anywhere near the danger zone yet. And there could be as much as a use of 30 to 40 or more thousand for potholes and still be safe on the fund balance.
Good. I like it. Very good. Thanks, Ron. Court report, Jacqueline?
No court.
No court. Okay. Public hearings, we don't have any. Public comments, anyone have public comments? Ron? Kegel, address, the
Ron
usual.
Cable, 10 Maple Avenue.
Thank you.
I just, two comments, two issues. The oyster wooden planks there.
Yes.
I don't know if everybody's aware that I fell on one last fall and ended up getting cellulitis. Spent 3 days in the hospital. It was an excruciating pain when I had to walk for about a week. So I know that those are of historical interest that can't be destroyed. But the fact is, one of them is broken now. It's broken off. I don't know if anybody's walked down there. One of them's chopped off.
The ruins, they're like those, they look
They
like,
used to take the oyster.
Yeah.
These are 100 years
right in
old.
front of
and they're
the
rotten
Bolte
wood.
house.
And I slipped on it. I just stepped on it. It wasn't even wet. I slipped on it. I had long pants on, my knee.
You're talking about the long ones, right?
So I was suggesting that you put up a sign.
We
saying,
are. I'm working on the sign.
If you get a litigious person or a kid,
I actually started working on the sign this week.
but like I said, I don't know if you walk down there, one of them got chopped up. I don't know, from the weather, one was like sticking up. Take a walk down.
All right, we'll have to look at that.
Okay, and the second thing, I know I spoke to you about this. I feel like this area is, and all the areas are overwatered in a world where there's not a limitless amount of water. I don't see why you have to water every day for as long as they do this time of year. It's just my opinion. It's an excess.
Okay.
And also, I don't know if you fixed the area to the outside between the tennis court and the woods. There's some heads there. I don't know if they were taken out. There's no reason to water there at all.
We did ask him, as I had told you when we spoke, I asked him to turn them all on and make sure that they weren't pointing in directions. And it's possible that we could turn those off if it's.
I think last year they turned them off.
Yeah.
There's no grass.
Yeah.
It's just woods.
That's a good idea.
And some of it goes on the tennis court.
Yeah, I should talk to him about that. We'll definitely do that, and I'll take a walk down at the oyster house and the oyster thing and see what it is. It's
Right.
tricky because it is historic,
But
but
now
if it's
broken.
right, but if it's a danger, it kind of does pose a different story.
And lighter note, I don't see any more doggy bags.
Ooh, thank you.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. It's on the list. I just realized that last week. You know why? Because I'm not pulling the doggy bags out anymore because I don't have my doggy. So I was always the one who would bring it to Village Hall, but it's on the list. Yeah.
That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay.
All right. So any other public comments? Nope. All right. Let's go to resolutions. Bye, Ron. Have a good night. Resolution 05-2024-01, resolution adopting April 11th, 2024 agenda as printed. So moved. All in favor?
Resolution 05-2024-02, resolution accepting the monthly reports from April 11th, 2024. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 05-2024-3, resolution adopting the minutes from the May 9th, 2024 work session of the Board of Trustees meeting. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 05-2024-4, resolution adopting the minutes from the May 9th, 2024. Wait,
That's fine.
That's
Supposed to be
fine.
April,
the April.
so the one before should have been April as well,
Yeah,
right?
all right,
Yeah.
let's,
Okay.
You want me to redo it?
April 11th, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
April 11th, yeah.
I'll do it again.
No, I was like, wait, we're in May.
I wasn't gonna say anything, so is this June?
So resolution 05-2024-03.
Wait a second, we did this already.
Well, I was gonna
She
do
said
it-
May.
she said-
She was just-
I said
Wait to
May.
correct it.
I'm correcting it.
The minutes, right, okay, sorry.
Resolution adopting the minutes from the April 11th, 2024 work session of the Board of Trustees meeting. So moved.
All in favor? Resolution 05-2024-04, resolution adopting the minutes from the April 11th, 2024 business session of the Board of Trustees meeting. So moved. All in favor?
Resolution 05-2024-05, resolution to schedule the Village of Hopewell Board of Trustees work session meeting beginning at 6 p.m. on June 13th, 2024, with a business meeting to follow immediately. So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 05-2024-06, resolution to approve 2024 fund appropriation and transfer policy to replace any previous fund appropriation and transfer policy. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 05-2024-07, resolution, what, fund balance. Wait.
Which one was not ready, Joseph?
Fund balance.
So let's make this, but I don't have the other one. The balance transfer, what was it called?
What are we up to? Which one are we up to? I missed it.
07, but that needs to be called the other name.
This needs to be the.
Bill approval.
The
Bill
balance
approval.
transfer,
No, the bill.
The bill approval policy.
the
Bill approval policy.
Okay, so let's make that bill approval
Thanks, Ron.
policy. Thanks, Ron. Okay, so resolution to approve the 2024 bill approval policy to replace any previous bill approval policy. So moved. All in favor? Okay, so now let's do this one. What do we?
So we agreed to do traffic logics.
Right,
correct?
okay, so I'll do this one. Resolution to approve the estimate from, wait, but you said I have to do this differently, Joe. That it has to be because I'm taking a higher bid. Not to,
Yeah, so this is a motion, motion to approve the higher bid from Traffic Logics in the amount of $8,430. $8,430 and not accept the bids from
treetop,
and Bart, was it Bart? I'm sorry, I can't read my writing. I just have notes.
bar. Jeremy, you got it. No, it was like, there it is.
Traffic Logics.
Barco products.
To not accept the lower bids of Barco Products and Treetops due to the difference in speed rating and the do leave it at that. Due to the
Difference in speed rating. Okay. For Van Burt Manor Road in the amount of, oh, we did that already. All right, so can we go with what you just read and we just so moved?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor? All right, resolution to approve the estimate from Royal, right? Oh, Parkline,
Asphalt.
Parkline Asphalt
At a
for,
rate of $3,350 per day.
at a rate of, in the, cleaning in the, at the rate of, go ahead,
$3,350 per day and $95 to keep it going.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, potholes, we're gonna table, correct? So resolution to, motion to table resolution 05-2024-10. So moved. All in favor? Okay. Resolution 05-2024-11, resolution to approve the estimate from Straight Line Tennis. Is it called Straight Line Tennis? Straight Line Tennis Courts, Inc. for the Village Tennis Court resurfacing and restriping in the amount of $17,900. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right,
Can
Jeremy,
I
go.
make a recommendation?
Yes, sir.
That we adopt I propose a resolution, 05-2024-11A, which resolution is to, authorize the village attorney to prepare a contract and authorize the mayor to sign the contract on behalf of the village for each of the three bids that were accepted.
Resolution to authorize the village attorney to prepare
A contract
a contract
and to authorize the mayor to sign the contract for each of the three bids that were approved.
authorize mayor to sign the contract for all three bids that were approved. So moved. All in favor?
Resolution 05-2024-12, resolution approving Deborah Pappas, Kendall Parrish, Deirdre Cronin, and Kim Pope as election inspectors for the June 18th, 2024 village election. So moved.
All in favor? We're gonna table this one, right? We don't have our numbers for, the next one, Ron, is the resolutions for the amounts, but we're gonna table that because I don't think that the numbers are final yet. So resolution number 05, a motion to table resolution 05-2024-13. So moved. All in favor? Okay, this next one, is that one the right info? Okay, resolution, I'm just gonna finish
Okay.
reading, I'm just gonna keep going. Resolution number 05-2024-14, resolution setting the tax rate at 1.95% and confirming the amount to be collected by taxes at $320,068. So moved. All in favor? Resolution directing Clerk Batani to coordinate with treasurer to place 2023-2024 snow removal fund balance overage into investment account with NY Class.
We don't have to give the amount.
Fund balance overages in the amount of,
I don't know.
it's not, okay. Fund balance in the amount of $55,000 into an investment account with NY Class. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? That's your report.
Okay. So first up, we have 11 unpaid bills to be approved. We have for the amount of $195.15. Land Design Associates, in the amount of $1,945. Nelson Pope and Voorhees. Oh wait, you know what? No, I'm sorry. General Code in the amount of $1,945. Then we have Land Design Associates in the amount of $1,675. Nelson Pope and Voorhees in the amount of $700. Optimum in the amount of $135.07. Powell's Cleaning Service in the amount of $320. Joseph Prokop in the amount of $2,931.25. PSEG in the amount of $386.67. PSEG in the amount of $14.13. Recycle Away Systems and Solutions in the amount of $4,315.06. And Small Business Management Solutions in the amount of $542.56. Next up, we have the Home Depot credit card in the amount of $214.77. After that, we have 3 unpaid bills. There's Flint Stenography and Transcription in the amount of $215.40. Weezy Fuel Co. in the amount of $225. And Williamson Law Book Co. in the amount of $187.15. Next, we have Ace Hardware in the amount of $53.31. Axe Creatives in the amount of $112.50. County Financial Services in the amount of $94.24. Newsday in the amount of $260. Times Beacon Record for a total of $283.56. And Verizon Wireless for $100.65 for a total of $904. Next, we have Econo Signs for $127.45. Poly Products for a total of $3,869.70. Shutterstock in the amount of $49 and USPS in the amount of $212.73 for a total of $4,258.88. Next, we have Nikon in the amount of $727. Pursuit Emergency Vehicles in the amount of $4,985. And Wex Bank in the amount of $136.13 for a total of $5,848.13.
Okay. Jeremy, do it.
Resolution 052024-16, resolution approving.
Wait. Sorry, do we need to add the resolution to 320? Sorry, you want to skip it? Just leave it?
We'll skip it. We'll skip it. We'll do it next time.
Sorry.
Resolution 052024-16, resolution approving all checks for the voucher report. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn the business session at 7:55 PM. So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome. Good night. I'll see you next.
See you later.
next
Bye,
month.
Ron.
Good night, Chet.